And check your pocket now, because some ordinary state quarters are turning into hidden wealth right in front of people who have no idea what they're spending. One tiny detail could mean silent fortune, and collectors are fighting over these coins in brutal auction wars nobody talks about. Do not spend these coins. One of the quarters in this video sold for shocking money, and every coin gets rarer, scarier, and more valuable. Stay till the end, because what you're about to see could change everything. First up, the 2017 D State Quarter is the kind of coin people ignore without even looking twice, and that's exactly why it has become such a dangerous hidden treasure. Most Americans toss these quarters into vending machines, gas stations, grocery stores, or leave them forgotten in cup holders, never realizing that one ordinary-looking piece of metal could quietly hold enough value to change someone's financial future overnight. This is not fiction. Collectors across the country have been aggressively hunting this specific coin, especially examples in untouched fine condition that still carry their original surfaces and natural aging. The terrifying part is that millions of people have already spent these coins by accident because nobody warned them what they were really holding. Do not spend this coin. The market surrounding this quarter has become intensely emotional because demand keeps rising while surviving examples continue disappearing into private collections where they may never return again. What makes the year 2017 so important is something most people completely overlook. America was in a strange economic and cultural transition during that period, and the United States Mint was under intense production pressure to keep up with nationwide coin circulation demands. Massive quantities of quarters were being struck rapidly, machines were running continuously, dies were wearing down harder and faster, and subtle variations started appearing that collectors now obsess over. Coins created during stressful minting periods often develop tiny characteristics that separate ordinary circulation pieces from silent fortunes worth serious money. That pressure inside the Denver Mint created a fascinating situation where high-quality survivors became dramatically harder to find years later. Most of these quarters entered circulation immediately, picked up scratches, corrosion, cleaning damage, and surface destruction within months. But the rare, untouched survivors became a completely different story. Those are the coins advanced collectors are desperately chasing now because original condition from this year is becoming harder to locate every single month. The first thing collectors notice about the 2017 D quarter is the sharpness hiding inside the design. When the coin still has its natural detail intact. On the obverse, you see the familiar portrait of George Washington facing left, but serious collectors focus far beyond the obvious portrait. They inspect the hair detail, the cheek surfaces, the jawline texture, and even the exact appearance of the lettering around the rim. The words United States of America, Liberty, In God We Trust, and Quarter Dollar must remain crisp without signs of destructive cleaning or polishing. Then they flip the coin over and immediately begin studying the reverse design with obsessive attention under bright light. Tiny surface characteristics, subtle darkness, and completely natural toning patterns can push collector excitement through the roof. Shiny means valuable. Most people miss this. They think shiny means valuable. But experienced buyers know that original untouched surfaces often command far higher prices than bright cleaned examples that lost their authenticity forever. The composition of this quarter plays a massive role in why it survives the way it does today. The coin was struck using a copper core wrapped in a cupronickel outer layer, giving it durability for heavy circulation while still maintaining the recognizable silver-like appearance Americans instantly recognize. But over time, Those metallic layers react differently depending on storage conditions, humidity, handling, and environmental exposure. Some quarters develop dark antique toning around the edges that collectors absolutely love because it proves the surface has not been tampered with. Others maintain soft grey textures with subtle gold or smoky highlights that create an almost historical appearance impossible to fake naturally. Never clean the coin. One cleaning attempt with a cloth, chemical, or polishing solution can permanently destroy the exact surface quality collectors are paying massive money to obtain. This detail changes everything because once original toning disappears, the emotional collector appeal often disappears with it. Physically, the 2017 D quarter feels ordinary in the hands of average people, but advanced collectors memorize its exact specifications because authenticity matters enormously in high-dollar auctions. The coin weighs approximately 5.67 grams and has a diameter close to 24.26 millimeters, giving it the classic quarter size Americans recognize instantly. Its thickness sits around 1.75 millimeters, while the reeded edge creates that unmistakable textured girth collectors inspect carefully under magnification. Even tiny irregularities along the edge can become important during professional authentication because counterfeit examples occasionally enter the market once values rise high enough. Serious buyers examine the weight balance, edge consistency, strike sharpness, and metal response carefully because they know hidden fortunes attract fake copies. That is why professional grading becomes critical when dealing with coins carrying auction values near $90,000. Without authentication, many collectors will refuse to risk huge money on raw, unverified examples, no matter how convincing they appear. One reason this coin has exploded in collector demand is because survival rates in strong original condition turned out to be much lower than expected. People assume modern quarters are easy to find, but the reality is brutal. Most circulation coins get destroyed quickly through scratches, drops, moisture exposure, pocket friction, bank-rolling machines, and aggressive cleaning from owners who think they are improving appearance. In truth, they are erasing value. Fine condition examples with untouched surfaces are becoming emotionally powerful to collectors because they represent survival against years of abuse and neglect. The Denver mint mark, the tiny D on the coin, has become an obsession for advanced quarter hunters because specific Denver-struck examples developed stronger collector recognition in recent auction circles. Quiet bidding wars now happen online and inside private collector groups where individuals compete aggressively for properly preserved specimens. Many owners are holding tightly instead of selling because they believe future values could climb even higher once fewer examples remain available publicly. Auction behavior around this coin has become genuinely intense. Some sales begin quietly with cautious bidding, then suddenly explode into aggressive competition once advanced collectors recognize strong surface originality and natural detail preservation. This is where ordinary viewers become shocked because they cannot understand how a coin worth 25 cents in circulation suddenly transforms into a five-figure opportunity. But collectors are not paying for face value. They are paying for survival, rarity perception, emotional ownership, and the growing realization that untouched examples are shrinking in availability. Hidden wealth works exactly like this. It hides in plain sight while most people walk directly past it every day. A properly preserved 2017 D quarter in fine condition, connected to the right market excitement, has reportedly reached around $90,000 in auction discussions, and that number changed how people look at modern state quarters forever. Suddenly, pockets, jars, dresser drawers, and old bankrolls became treasure hunts across America. The emotional psychology behind this coin is something casual viewers underestimate completely. Collectors do not just want metal. They want the feeling of discovering something others ignored. They want the story, the rarity, the fear of missing out, and the satisfaction of holding a coin most people accidentally spent without a second thought. That emotional demand keeps supply shrinking because once serious buyers obtain exceptional examples, they lock them away for years. Some never return to the market again. This creates even more pressure on remaining coins, still floating through circulation unnoticed. Patience creates wealth in this hobby because experienced collectors understand timing matters. They search slowly, study carefully, and wait for the right opportunity instead of rushing into damaged or cleaned examples. Most people lose money because they ignore the tiny details professionals care about most. A single cleaning mark, surface scratch, or altered tone can slash collector interest instantly. If you think you may have this quarter, the first thing to check is the Denver mint mark beneath the date. Then study the surfaces carefully under natural light. Look for untouched toning, original texture, and strong design detail without signs of polishing. Do not wipe the coin. Do not dip it in chemicals. Do not scrub away darkness thinking you are improving it. That darkness may actually be part of the coin's hidden fortune. Originality is everything in this market. After that, weigh the coin properly and compare the dimensions carefully because authenticity matters once serious money enters the conversation. Then comes the most important step of all, professional grading. Certified authentication from a respected grading service can completely transform how collectors view the coin and often determines whether buyers trust the piece enough to enter competitive bidding situations. This is not a game anymore once five-figure auction potential becomes involved. And here is the scary part most people still do not understand. The 2017 D quarter is only the beginning. What comes next is even bigger, because the next state quarter, hiding in circulation, carries an even darker collector obsession, an even rarer survival story, and a value so shocking that some collectors refuse to talk about it publicly. Stay till the end, because the next coin makes this silent fortune look small. The terrifying thing about the 2012 P state quarter is how normal it looks while silently slipping through millions of hands every single year. People spend this coin at grocery stores, gas pumps, laundromats, vending machines, and fast food counters without even pausing for 1 second, completely unaware they may be throwing away a hidden treasure collectors have become obsessed with. This coin does not scream wealth. It hides it. That's what makes it so dangerous to ignore. Somewhere right now, someone is unknowingly carrying one in a pocket filled with loose change, while serious collectors are hunting for the exact same quarter with almost desperate intensity. Do not spend this coin. Most people never notice the tiny P mint mark, and that single detail has become one of the biggest silent obsessions in modern coin collecting circles. Stay with this story, because what looks ordinary at first becomes more shocking every minute you look closer. Back in 2012, the United States was still dealing with the emotional and economic pressure left behind by the financial struggles of the late 2000s. Americans were cautious with money, circulation demand remained high, and the U.S. Mint was under constant pressure to produce enormous quantities of coins efficiently and rapidly. During times like these, production speed becomes everything. Machines run harder, dies wear faster, and quality variations quietly emerge that later become incredibly important to collectors. Most people never connect economic pressure to coin rarity, but experienced numismatists know those stressful production periods can create coins with unusual survival stories. The Philadelphia Mint was striking quarters in massive numbers during this era, yet years later, collectors realized that genuinely attractive, fine-conditioned survivors with untouched surfaces were disappearing faster than expected. Coins from that year entered circulation immediately, suffered rough treatment, and lost their originality almost instantly. The few that escaped heavy abuse became hidden wealth hiding in plain sight. The moment collectors hold a strong 2012p quarter in their hands, they immediately begin searching for details average people completely miss. On the front of the coin, the obverse carries the portrait of George Washington, but advanced collectors study far beyond the face itself. They inspect the contours around Washington's hairline, the softness of the cheek area, the clarity of the eye detail, and the sharpness of every single letter surrounding the rim. The inscriptions "Liberty," "In God We Trust," and "United States of America" become critical points of examination because weak surfaces or evidence of cleaning can instantly destroy collector excitement. Then the coin flips over to reveal the reverse design connected to the State Quarter series, carrying detailed artwork and text many people never bother reading carefully. That reverse design tells a story of American identity and state pride, but to collectors, it also reveals strike quality, die condition, and originality. Tiny marks, natural darkness, and untouched toning patterns often separate ordinary examples from serious collector targets. One reason this quarter has become such a quiet sensation is because of the metal composition and how it ages over time. The coin contains a pure copper core surrounded by outer layers of copper-nickel, creating a durable structure intended for years of circulation. But as years passed, environmental exposure began changing the appearance of surviving examples in fascinating ways. Some developed smoky gray edges with soft golden highlights. Others formed deep antique toning that gives the coin an almost historical appearance under bright light. Collectors love this because originality matters emotionally and financially. Never clean this coin. The moment somebody scrubs the surface, dips it into chemicals, or tries to polish away darkness, they destroy the natural skin collectors desperately want to see. This is one of the biggest mistakes inexperienced owners make. They think brightness means quality when, in reality, untouched surfaces with natural age often command far stronger demand. Original toning tells a story of survival, and serious buyers pay aggressively for that authenticity. Physically, the 2012p quarter feels familiar in the hand, which is exactly why it continues slipping unnoticed through circulation. The coin weighs approximately 5.67 grams and measures around 24.26 millimeters in diameter, matching the standard dimensions Americans recognize instantly. Its thickness is close to 1.75 millimeters. While the reeded edge creates the textured girth, collectors inspect carefully during authentication. These measurements may sound ordinary, but professionals treat them seriously because high-value coins eventually attract counterfeit attempts. Weight discrepancies, edge inconsistencies, or unusual thickness can expose altered or fake examples immediately. Advanced collectors often use magnification tools and precision scales to study these quarters carefully, because once the market recognizes hidden wealth, imitation follows quickly behind. This is why professional grading is critical. A certified example with verified authenticity instantly becomes more trusted inside collector communities and often sparks far more aggressive bidding behavior once auctions begin heating up. The real mystery surrounding this quarter is not how many were made. It is how few survived in truly desirable condition. That shocks people. Modern quarters are supposed to be common, yet this specific coin became unexpectedly difficult to locate, with strong original detail and honest, untouched surfaces. Millions entered circulation, but circulation is brutal. Coins get scratched inside cash registers, crushed into pavement, soaked in moisture, tossed into jars, and cleaned incorrectly by people who accidentally destroy their value forever. Fine condition examples that still carry natural character have become emotionally powerful to collectors because they represent survival against years of damage and neglect. Most people miss this detail completely. They think rarity only comes from low mintage numbers, but collectors understand survival rarity can become even more important. When fewer strong examples remain available, demand grows hotter and competition becomes far more intense. The tiny P mint mark from Philadelphia has become a quiet obsession among advanced quarter collectors. Some buyers refuse to purchase examples without sharp mint mark clarity because they believe it reflects stronger strike quality overall. Others search specifically for coins with natural toning around the mint mark area because it signals untouched originality. These tiny details sound insignificant to average viewers, but inside collector circles, they can completely change emotional demand. This is not fiction. Auctions involving premium modern quarters often become psychological battles where collectors compete not just for ownership, but for status and bragging rights inside the hobby. Some bidding wars remain quiet at first, then suddenly explode once multiple experienced buyers recognize the same hidden qualities. People watching from the outside cannot understand why a simple quarter causes such intensity, but collectors see something entirely different. They see disappearing supply, increasing demand, and the terrifying possibility that truly desirable survivors may become nearly impossible to replace later. Another reason collectors emotionally connect with this quarter is because it represents an era many Americans still remember clearly. Coins from 2012 feel modern enough to remain familiar, yet old enough to carry years of circulation history and wear. Every scratch-free surface, every untouched edge, and every patch of natural toning feels almost miraculous, considering how harsh circulation can be. Some collectors describe finding a strong, fine-condition example as discovering a silent fortune hiding in plain sight. Others compare it to pulling forgotten treasure directly out of everyday life. That emotional attachment matters because collector psychology drives markets just as much as rarity itself. Once enough people believe a coin represents hidden wealth, demand can rise rapidly while supply disappears into long-term private collections. Many owners are now refusing to sell their strongest examples because they believe future prices could climb dramatically higher once surviving coins become harder to locate. Today, the market surrounding the 2012 P quarter has reached levels that continue shocking casual observers. Strong, fine-condition examples with untouched surfaces, natural aging, and proper authentication have reportedly reached astonishing auction attention, approaching $120,000 in the right circumstances, even without dramatic mint errors or exotic variations attached. That number sounds unreal to ordinary people because the coin still circulates publicly like normal pocket change. But hidden treasure always works this way. People ignore it until the market forces them to pay attention. Serious collectors are already paying attention. Quiet competition has intensified across online auctions, dealer networks, and private collector groups where buyers aggressively search for strong examples before prices climb even higher. Supply keeps shrinking because collectors hold rather than sell, and every year more coins become damaged, cleaned, or lost forever. If you think you may have this quarter, the first thing you need to do is stay calm and inspect it carefully under natural light. Check for the P mint mark beneath the date and study the surfaces closely. Look for natural color, smooth original texture, and strong design details that have not been altered by polishing or harsh cleaning. Do not wipe the coin. Do not wash it. Never use chemicals. Even tiny cleaning marks can permanently damage collector value. This detail changes everything because originality matters more than artificial shine. After that, weigh the coin and verify the dimensions carefully. If the surfaces appear authentic and untouched, professional grading becomes the next critical step. Certified authentication can completely transform how serious buyers view the coin and often becomes the deciding factor in whether auctions remain quiet or erupt into competitive bidding wars. The scariest part is that this quarter may still be hiding almost anywhere. Old piggy banks, forgotten drawers, inherited jars of change, glove compartments, bank rolls, and loose coins sitting under couch cushions could quietly contain one of these silent fortunes right now. People are accidentally losing them every single day because they never learned what to look for. That is exactly why collectors remain obsessed. They know ordinary people continue feeding hidden treasure back into circulation unknowingly. Patience creates wealth in this hobby because smart collectors study details slowly, avoid damaged examples, and wait for authentic, untouched coins with strong emotional appeal. The supply gets tighter every year while demand grows louder and more aggressive. And yet, as shocking as this quarter has become, the next coin is even more dangerous to ignore. What comes next carries a darker reputation among collectors, a survival story far more unbelievable, and an auction history that has left experienced buyers completely stunned. Stay ready, because the next hidden fortune makes this discovery look almost small. Nobody expected the 2011 state quarter to become one of the most quietly feared coins in modern circulation, and that is exactly why people are losing them every single day without realizing it. This coin hides in plain sight, like silent treasure waiting for somebody patient enough to notice the details everyone else ignores. Right now, one could be sitting in a cash register, trapped inside a coin jar, or buried in loose pocket change, while collectors across America search with near desperation for strong, surviving examples. Do not spend this coin. The terrifying part is that most people have already touched one at some point and never knew what they were holding. This is the kind of discovery that changes how you look at ordinary money forever. Stay focused, because the deeper you go into this quarter's story, the more unbelievable it becomes. Back in 2011, America was still struggling through uncertainty after years of economic pressure, job instability, and financial anxiety left behind from the recession era. During periods like this, coin circulation becomes extremely active because cash changes hands constantly, while the U.S. Mint works aggressively to keep enough coins moving through the economy. Inside the Denver Mint, production lines were operating under intense demand, and that pressure created conditions collectors still study carefully today. Dies wore down, machines pushed harder, and countless quarters entered circulation immediately, where damage, scratches, and environmental wear began destroying them almost instantly. Most people assume modern quarters survive easily, but circulation is merciless. Coins are dropped, scraped, cleaned improperly, exposed to moisture, and forgotten in harsh conditions for years. The few surviving 2011 quarters that managed to escape heavy abuse became something entirely different. They became hidden wealth disguised as everyday pocket change. When serious collectors examine the 2011 quarter, they are not just looking at a simple coin. They are studying survival, originality, and tiny details that average people completely overlook. On the obverse, the portrait of George Washington appears familiar at first glance, but experienced numismatists immediately focus on the fine details around the hair, cheekbone, jawline, and lettering. The inscriptions "Liberty," "In God We Trust," and "United States of America" must remain sharp and natural without evidence of surface alteration. Then comes the reverse side, where the state quarter artwork tells a deeper story through symbols, lettering, and design precision. Every line matters. Every tiny surface texture matters. Collectors inspect the words, rim, quality, strike depth, and natural color transitions carefully because these details reveal whether the coin survived honestly or suffered destructive cleaning and damage over the years. One reason this coin has become so emotionally powerful among collectors is the way its metal composition reacts over time. The 2011 D quarter was struck using a copper core layered with cupronickel, creating the durable silver-colored appearance Americans recognize instantly. But after years in circulation, truly untouched examples begin developing natural toning patterns collectors absolutely love. Some coins form smoky gray edges with soft blue highlights. Others develop antique golden surfaces under proper lighting that make the coin appear almost historic, despite its relatively modern age. These natural changes cannot be replicated perfectly, and experienced buyers know the difference immediately. Never clean this coin. That warning cannot be overstated. The second somebody wipes away the original surface with chemicals or abrasive cloths, the emotional collector value can collapse permanently. Original toning matters because it proves authenticity, untouched history, and genuine survival. Collectors are not chasing artificial shine. They are chasing originality. Physically, the 2011 D quarter carries the standard specifications of modern US quarters, yet those exact measurements become critically important once serious money enters the conversation. The coin weighs approximately 5.67 grams and measures about 24.26 millimeters in diameter. Its thickness sits near 1.75 millimeters, while the reeded edge gives the coin its textured girth collectors inspect under magnification. Advanced buyers often examine edge quality very carefully because counterfeiters sometimes struggle reproducing authentic reed patterns perfectly. Tiny inconsistencies in thickness, weight balance, or metal sound can reveal fake examples immediately. This is why professional grading becomes absolutely critical once collectors believe a quarter may hold significant market value. Authentication provides trust, and trust changes auction behavior completely. A professionally graded coin with verified originality instantly attracts stronger attention than raw, unverified pieces floating around online marketplaces. The Denver Mint mark itself has become one of the most quietly obsessed over details in the modern quarter market. That tiny D beneath the year may look meaningless to casual observers, but collectors see it differently. Some search specifically for sharply struck mint marks with strong clarity because they believe these examples reflect superior die pressure and overall strike quality. Others focus on how natural toning settles around the mint mark area, searching for untouched surfaces that prove the coin has never been cleaned or tampered with. Most people miss this completely. They glance at the coin for half a second and move on, never understanding why collectors can stare at one quarter for several minutes under bright light. But this hobby is built on details invisible to ordinary eyes. Tiny differences separate common pocket change from silent fortunes, and the 2011 D quarter became one of the clearest examples of that truth. What truly transformed this coin into a collector obsession was the shocking realization that strong, fine-condition survivors were disappearing faster than expected. Millions were produced, but production numbers alone never tell the full story. Survival is everything. Most 2011 D quarters suffered brutal circulation wear almost immediately after release. Coins bounced through cash registers, vending machines, parking meters, laundromats, and pockets filled with keys and dirt. Others were cleaned aggressively by people who thought polishing improved appearance when in reality they destroyed originality forever. As years passed, collectors began noticing how difficult it had become, finding naturally preserved examples with honest surfaces and strong detail remaining intact. Demand slowly intensified. Then auction houses started reporting stronger bidding activity. Suddenly, what once looked ordinary became something emotionally explosive inside collector circles. Auction behavior surrounding this quarter has become surprisingly aggressive in recent years. Some sales begin quietly with cautious interest, but once advanced, collectors recognize a strong, original example. Bidding intensity changes instantly. This is not fiction. People have watched simple-looking quarters trigger emotional competition because buyers understand how few attractive survivors remain available publicly. Many collectors refuse to sell their best examples now because they believe supply will continue shrinking while demand keeps climbing. That creates tension inside the market. Every strong coin that disappears into a private collection makes remaining examples even more desirable. This is exactly how hidden wealth grows quietly over time. It hides unnoticed until enough people suddenly realize what has been sitting in front of them the entire time. The 2011 D quarter has now entered that dangerous stage where awareness spreads faster while availability becomes tighter. The emotional attraction behind this coin goes far beyond money alone. Collectors love the idea that something so ordinary-looking can secretly hold extraordinary importance. They love discovering overlooked treasures hidden inside everyday life. Some buyers describe the thrill of finding a strong 2011 D quarter as more exciting than expensive luxury purchases because the discovery feels personal and unexpected. You are not just buying metal, you are rescuing history people ignored. That emotional connection drives demand harder than most outsiders realize. Once collectors emotionally attach themselves to a coin, they compete more aggressively and hold longer instead of selling quickly. That behavior pushes supply lower while increasing market pressure year after year. Patience creates wealth in this hobby because experienced collectors know the best opportunities often hide where nobody else bothers looking. Today, the market surrounding the 2011 D quarter has reached astonishing levels. Strong, fine-conditioned examples with untouched surfaces, natural toning, and proper authentication have reportedly achieved auction attention near $150,000 under the right conditions, even without dramatic minting errors attached. That number sounds impossible to ordinary people because the coin still circulates publicly like normal change. But hidden treasure always sounds impossible at first. Most fortunes hiding in plain sight are ignored precisely because they look ordinary. Serious collectors understand this psychology perfectly. That is why they continue searching relentlessly through rolls of quarters, estate collections, inherited jars, and forgotten drawers, hoping to uncover surviving examples before the market grows even hotter. Demand keeps rising, supply keeps shrinking, and every year, more coins disappear forever into permanent collections. If you think you may have this quarter, slow down and inspect it carefully under proper lighting. Look first for the D mint mark beneath the year and study the surfaces closely for originality. Natural color, untouched texture, and honest circulation character matter enormously. Do not clean the coin. Never polish it. Never scrape away darkness thinking you are improving appearance. That darkness may become your next move immediately. Certified authentication can dramatically increase collector trust and often becomes the factor that transforms quiet interest into aggressive auction competition. The scariest reality is that these quarters are still hiding almost everywhere. People continue spending them accidentally every day because nobody taught them what to look for. Hidden fortunes slip through gas stations, grocery stores, parking lots, and vending machines constantly, while collectors search with growing urgency. Somewhere right now, somebody is probably handing over one of these quarters for a cup of coffee without realizing what just left their hands. This detail changes everything because it proves how invisible real treasure can become when the world stops paying attention to ordinary things. And before you leave, remember this. The next coin hiding in circulation may be even more shocking than all three of these combined. So before you spend another quarter, check every date, every mint mark, and every tiny detail carefully. Because hidden wealth does not announce itself loudly. Sometimes it waits silently in your pocket for years until one small discovery changes everything.